Have you ever been afraid to look at your bank account? Not because looking at it would make things worse, you're just afraid of what you might find. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm a financial coach, and I'm also the creator of the Buckets Make Sense budgeting system, where I teach people to manage their money without the stress of tracking every dollar. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I don't think gets talked about nearly enough: the connection of budgeting with mental health. I think one of the biggest benefits of budgeting isn't what it does to your bank account, but what it does for your peace of mind. Maybe you've avoided opening your bank statements or looking at your balance on your bank account. You've put off looking at your bills because you're afraid you might not have enough to cover them. And here's what's interesting. The longer you put off looking at your bills, the more you think about them. You think about them while you're driving, while you're at work, maybe spending time with family, or even in bed at night. Many people aren't anxious about their money because they're bad with it. It's because they just don't know. They aren't sure what bills are due, if they're going to have enough money in their account. They don't know how much debt they really have, and they don't know what would happen tomorrow if an emergency actually happened. When you don't know, your mind fills in the blanks, usually with worst case scenario. That's why financial stress follows people everywhere they go. You may be sitting in church on a Sunday trying to focus on the sermon, and yet thoughts about money are going through your mind. You may be playing outside with your kids. You're playing, but you're really thinking constantly about how you're going to come up with the money for that bill, or how much is it, or has it already been paid. You may be trying to sleep, or driving to work, or working out in the morning, or eating dinner. All these times provide opportunities for our mind to go crazy thinking about money. We keep hearing that little voice in the back of our mind. Are we okay? Can we make it? What if something happens? That emotional stress, that mental exhaustion from constantly playing it out in your mind. And many people carry it every single day. Most people think creating a budget creates more work. I beg to differ. I think it reduces your work, because whether you know it or not, you're thinking about money all day long. Can I afford those groceries? Did that bill already come out of my account? How much is left in my checking account? Or even worse, what would people think if they actually knew what my finances look like? Those thoughts are constantly running in the background, and it's exhausting. The problem usually isn't the money itself. The problem is carrying the uncertainty around in your head all day long. That's why so many people feel stressed and overwhelmed and mentally exhausted when it comes to money. Not because they're bad with money, but because they don't have a clear plan. And when there's no clear plan, your mind continues to try to solve that problem over and over and over again. One of the biggest mistakes I see with working with people is avoiding their finances because they're afraid of what they might find. But whatever they see isn't worse because they see it. It's exactly the same as it was before, but now you simply know. And knowing removes that fear. It takes the problem out of the unknown category. As Christians, we're reminded that God didn't give us a spirit of fear. Fear thrives on uncertainty. Clarity helps us move forward. So you may be asking, where do I start? I'm glad you asked. Start by gathering your last bank statement and credit card statement. If you use a credit card for monthly bills, you'll want both of them. I like to have this printed off, a paper copy, so that I can make notes on it, highlight it, and just really dive in on this. As long as I'm working on it, I may as well do it right. Now, the next thing you're not gonna like, but I want you to put your phone away. Don't try to multitask. Don't watch television. Don't scroll social media. Give this task your full attention. As you look through these statements, you're going to be looking for 3 things. And I want you to star these things when you come across them. The first thing that I want you to look for are things that you don't recognize. As you're going through your bank statement or your credit card statement, you no doubt will find a few things that you don't recognize, or you're just not exactly sure what they are. Put a star by these things, because you're going to go back and you're going to investigate these. The second thing that I want you to look for are things that you could trim back. We all have packages that we may be paying for the $50 pack when we could actually do fine with the $25 version. And if that's you, then put a star by that item, come back and trim that expense back. You've just saved yourself $25 a month. And the third thing that I want you to look for are those items that you realize right off the bat that you didn't know that you still were paying, that you don't need anymore, and that you want to eliminate. So you want to cut these things. You put a star by these things. So you're going to look for things that you can investigate, you can trim, and you can cut. You don't have to deal with these things immediately. You're just going to identify them. This is the first step in trying to clean up your financial life and get it out in the open. Bring it out from the unknown and make it something you can actually improve. In fact, that's exactly why I created my free bill cleanup worksheet. The link is in the description. It will take you through exactly what we're talking about today, and it'll help you to get started. If that sounds interesting, grab it before you leave this video. Now, here's something I've learned from coaching people. The moment that they start looking at their bank statement and their credit card statement, and they kind of get all these things accumulated, brought together in one place, they feel 2 emotions. The very first one is overwhelmed. So if you feel overwhelmed, you're not alone. This is totally normal. But immediately after that, they feel relief. Why? Because now the uncertainty is gone. They've taken the unknown and brought it out to where they can deal with it. For the first time, they know where they actually stand. They know what's coming, they know what needs their attention, and the situation may not have changed at all, but emotionally, everything changes because the unknown becomes known, and that is incredibly powerful for your mental health. The next step is really simple. I want you to take all of your monthly bills and list them out in due date order. So I don't want you to put them in alphabetical order or the order of importance or the order of amount. I want you to put them in due date order. If something comes out on the 1st or you pay it on the 1st, then it needs to be on the first line. If something gets paid on the 3rd, it's probably going to come second, all the way down to the 30th or 31st of the month. And by the way, all those Google subscriptions and TV subscriptions that you have, don't group them together. Write them out individually. It will help you examine them, make you realize if you still want them, and then know exactly what you're spending in this area of life. Now your bills will begin to align with your payday. This is one of the core things that I teach in my Buckets Make Sense budgeting system. All of your expenses belong in one of 3 buckets. So it's very visual. This very first bucket is the one that we're talking about today in this video. So when payday arrives, you're going to pay everything from now until the next payday. Now, you have some bills that come out automatically, and those are fine. Leave those alone. But if you have manual bills that you're going to pay between the 1st and the 15th, go ahead and get those paid immediately when you get paid. Now, payday is going to become a trigger. As soon as you get paid, you pay all of your bills for the next 2 weeks, and then you move on with your life. No more wondering, no more guessing, no more trying to remember what's due next. You've already handled it. When your bills have a plan, your brain can stop carrying them around all day long. You can focus on your family. You can focus on your faith, your work, your future, and most of all, your mental health. A budget won't cure anxiety, and it's not going to solve every single problem. It won't eliminate every financial challenge in your life, but it can remove a tremendous amount of uncertainty. And uncertainty is often what keeps people trapped in this stress cycle. When your bills have a plan and your paycheck has a purpose, when you know where your money is going, your mind can finally stop carrying them around all day long. That's why I believe budgeting isn't just a financial tool. It's an emotional tool. It's a mental health tool, because a budget gives your money a plan. And most of all, it gives your mind permission to finally rest. If you'd like help getting started on this, I've linked my free simple bill cleanup worksheet in the description below. Now, for the Coach's Corner. I am a coach. I can't help myself. I got to put on my coach's hat. One of the things I've noticed after working with many coaching clients, that most people aren't actually afraid of their finances. They are afraid of finding out what their finances look like. So they avoid looking. But the strange thing is, avoiding looking at their finances doesn't stop the stress. It actually increases it. Because like I said before, when you don't know, your mind willingly fills in the blanks. And most of the time, your imagination is far worse than what reality is. I've watched clients gather their bank statement and their credit card statement, and they bring it in and they start looking at it, and they usually kind of laugh and say, this is going to be a huge job. And I tell them, don't worry about it. It's the same for every single person. And when they start looking, they feel the same way, overwhelmed. But very soon, the second emotion comes, and it is relief. Not because their situation has suddenly improved, or that they found extra money, or their debt has disappeared. It's because they finally knew. The unknown became known. And clarity is powerful. That's true with money, with relationships, and even with life. When something stays in the dark, it tends to grow in our minds. But when we bring it out in the light, we can finally deal with it. So if you've been avoiding your finances, let me encourage you, take a look. Whatever you find isn't going to be any worse just because you looked. It's exactly the same as it was before. The only difference is now you have a starting point, and a starting point is where progress begins. Till next time, remember, tracking is out, buckets are in.